Howdy folks, I'm Clifton Wright, and today we are doing a quick lesson on hybrid picking in the rock and roll style. So you just heard that solo, and I was doing some sort of George Lynch inspired things with my right and left hands. So that first opening sequence was a lick like that. So what we're doing is we're playing in harmonic minor, G harmonic minor, and we're kind of working our way up the scale, but we're skipping the B string. So we're starting on the G, and we're going middle finger pick. So this is the hybrid part. And then to efficiently skip strings over to the E, up to the 5th fret of the E, we're using our ring finger, and then sliding. So we work our way up to that harmonic minor section here. And then we're just sliding the shape 7, 8, and then 10 on the E. So 7, 8 on the G, and then 10 on the E. And that's middle finger, pick, ring finger. So maybe start with that as an exercise and slide that around. Then there was some alternate picking. And then the next part is sort of like some arpeggios using this harmonic minor shape for G harmonic minor. But I'm kind of just picking 2 notes from 2 string sets, and I'm usually skipping 1 string. That's kind of the unifying theme of my intervallic choices. So we have this first part. So that's kind of the first idea, and maybe we'll just think about this in terms of concept. So for this one, we're doing a hammer on from the 6th fret, which is E flat, up to G flat. You can alternate pick that too if you want. And then we're pivoting back down, so it's kind of a pedal tone. From that D on the 7th fret of the G. So the idea is that you're using your finger to pluck that higher note. So you can get like a really clean separation, and your pick doesn't have to make a big jump across all those strings. Which you can do that also, but then you don't get the same sound. Then the other lick is something like that. So we use for this example this other section of the harmonic minor, G harmonic minor, and we'll play A to C on the D string. That's 7th fret to 10th fret, and then we'll do a little hammer on, or actually no, we'll do a middle finger pick. So middle finger pick on the 7th fret to the 8th fret on the B, and then a pull off. Then go back down to that C on the D string, and then hit that G sharp or that F sharp one more time on the B. And then on that first note. So that's the other concept. So apply that everywhere. That's kind of the idea with this part. So then you can kind of fit in another section or another idea to kind of complete the phrase and make it easier to go from spot to spot. So we're going to go, and then we're going to go back up. And then this is just a pivot from this 10th fret of the D, and that's pick, and then using your middle finger to pick the 7th fret of the B, and then the 8th fret of the B. So we're just going back and forth between our pick and our finger. Right, and you can kind of just sort of expand on that. And usually to work on this idea, I pick 2 strings, and they're always 2 strings apart. So there'll be 1 string in between them. And then I'll just work the diatonic shapes I recognize, like a G harmonic minor in this example. So it's important to know each one of those positions up the neck so you can kind of work this out. All right, so then the next thing I did, or another part of this, was doing sort of 9-shaped arpeggios that sort of fall in line with where the G minor scale sits up here in this higher octave. So we're going to do like a 13, 15, and 17 on sequential strings. So, and this last one's just a power chord. But then we're going to pivot and use our ring finger to grab other notes. So we're going with the right hand, pick, middle, ring. So get that idea down. And so then on this next part, we're just grabbing different notes with our ring finger, kind of in this area. It doesn't really matter which ones, just as long as they work harmonically. So you can hear I'm grabbing this F and this C on the D string and the G way up here on the 15th and 17th fret. And that's with my pick and my middle finger. And then my ring finger is just bouncing around between different notes in this G minor shape. So you can kind of do with that what you want. You can experiment. You don't have to use the same pattern over and over again. And it doesn't always have to be ascending. You can do it descending also. And then here's the other part. This is an interesting one. So I'm using my middle finger to grab the high E. And just think about this in terms of the pentatonic box. So something like that, a simple rock and roll lick. From the root to the 7th to the 5th to the 4th. So just getting your fingers involved, you're going to have some really cool options that are sort of in that Greg Howe sort of vein. So that one lick was this, or similar to this. It was something like that. So for this one, we're doing a little hammer-on pull-off from the 18th fret to the 15th. And then using our middle finger to pluck the note on the E string, whichever one it may be. And you can do hammer-ons across the string with the same finger, or with your index finger jumping over to the next string down like this. And that's sort of a Greg Howe thing. So then to take that to another level, we can reach up with our pinky and I'll play that a little slower. That's another cool one that I like to use a lot, and it's sort of like a Neil Schon lick. So this one we're kind of like going back between the pick and the middle finger here. So we're doing a pull-off on the E string, then grabbing that 7th on the B string, and then tracing our way back, pivoting back to the E string, and grabbing that with our middle finger. And then going back to the B string with the pick. And then down to the 15th fret of the E. So that's the first section. So that's that. And that's what I use a whole lot, is that style of lick. And that's because I'm a huge Neil Schon fan, so I had to figure out a way to kind of do his signature. That kind of like that real aggressive pentatonic thing. So pull off, then pick a note on the string that's lower, and then pivot back using your hybrid plucked note with your finger. It's sort of just a bunch of back and forth between the pick and the finger plucking adjacent strings. So that's probably a good place to start, is just being able to go back and forth. So if you're familiar with like earlier Journey from the late 70s, early 80s, you'll recognize these kind of licks. And I have to hybrid pick them. I just like the way it sounds, and it's easier for me. So here's another exercise to kind of get your fingers in shape for a lot of this stuff. Just take a chord, any chord, like a C7, and just work your way up the arpeggio, one note at a time, in 3-note chunks. And just go, E string, A string, D string, G. Just in 3-note chunks, like triplets, with your pick, middle, and ring finger. Da, 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 da. And then, so do that ascending and descending. And be sure to do descending and ascending going up and down, so you have more options. And then try that skipping some strings. So do like the E string, D string, B string. Right? And so then you can start to map out kind of like these larger intervals using this. So then, just follow your way up the scale. Go middle finger pick and then ring finger to grab that higher note. So just using the G string and the E string. Then the next was doing these 9 power chords. And then doing a pedal between this 15th and the 17th, and then just lots of random notes from G minor. And then the other one was, what did we do? Oh yeah, this. And that was that thing where we were doing like a pull off, plucking with our middle finger on the high E, picking on the B, and then going back and forth. Middle finger, pick. So just work on that. Then you can apply that to sort of diatonic shapes too. And then so the last one I want to do sort of a similar idea, but with a lot of legato stuff. So we're going to do a picked note, and then we'll hammer on 2 notes. So like, for example, this part of G minor. We're going to go 3rd fret, 4th fret, 6th fret on the B string, and then grab the 6th fret of the E with our middle finger. And then what you can do is pick the B string again and pull off back down, so like this. So more of a Greg Howism also. But this is really cool, like say E minor, just using different sections of E minor. And then what I'm doing here also is adding, like, for example, for this lick, I'm going 12th, 15th, and then 19th. And then grabbing that 19th fret of the high E with my middle finger, plucking that. So every other one, I'm doing an extra back and forth with my middle finger and pick. Da, 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 da. So that's pretty cool, and you can use that string skipping as well. So that works pretty well for that. And I like to do that for more like the kind of like Sean Lane sort of style stuff. I'll do like a I'll do a plucked note. Anyway, these are just sort of examples of what you can do, adding extra fingers to the fray when you're not feeling like alternate picking everything or economy picking everything. You can sort of add this. And next week we'll do, or maybe tomorrow, I'll talk about some more hybrid stuff more along these lines. Some really cool ideas. I sort of borrowed them from this really awesome guitar player, Wes Hotch, but he picks them all, which is crazy, so I have to hybrid pick them. But anyway, try this stuff out. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll follow this up probably with sort of smaller, easier to digest chunks. So tune in next time.